Hey guys, it is Sunday, December 1st. Bitcoin's at 97,200. And this episode is called Bitcoin versus AI. And it's going to be a great episode. I'm going to be talking about the two fundamental forces that I think are going to shape the next 10 or 20 years of our lives. And those are Bitcoin and AI. And specifically, I'm going to get into where you should spend your time and where you should spend your money between those two fundamentally new ideas. Before I do that, as usual, I'm going to ask that you hit the subscribe button. This is important because this is how I get new subscribers, which gets me more guests on these shows, on Bitcoin First, which I'm doing with Wayne Vaughn. And it's really important to get the mind share. So that's it. It's completely free. If you're not on YouTube, I'd ask you to go to YouTube and find me on YouTube, Kruger. You'll find me and subscribe. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm going to get to this episode. And I have a little deck this time. People have been saying, Fred, you should get more decks. And I agree. These decks are good. So I'm going to show you this deck. And this deck is called Bitcoin versus AI. So why did I say Bitcoin versus AI and not and AI? Because I do think these things in a lot of people's minds are, where do I put my money in, Bitcoin or AI? Where do I focus? And Peter Thiel, sort of said, the internet and AI are important technologies. Bitcoin is moderately important. And he sort of said that only a way that he can, with appropriate amount of condescension, just suggest, yeah, it's moderately important. And I think I understand why he said this, but I think it's wrong. And the way I would counter that is this. Bitcoin's not just a new technology. It's a new way of measuring things. And once you start getting that in your mind, once you realize it's not something like pure technology like the internet was or like AI is, and you realize it's a new way of organization, a human organization, you have a very different perspective. So the point I really am going to try to make in this presentation is that Bitcoin is going to be a much better passive investment for you than anything AI related over the next 10 or 20 years. But AI is going to be a better way for you to build a career if you're still working. So that's really the fundamental thing. So I'm going to show you this tweet that I made day before yesterday. And it was a very simple tweet. I said, my advice to the younger generations, focus all your energy on AI, put all your savings in Bitcoin. And I got 571,000 views on this tweet, almost 10,000 likes. This is pretty big. 1,000 reposts, which was huge. And part of the reason I got so many likes and reposts is that Michael Saylor agrees with me. He said, good advice. So he agreed with my advice to the younger generation that you should really focus your energy on AI, but use Bitcoin more as a savings account. So I had expanded that a little bit with a further tweet, and I said specifically, I think you should learn as much as you can about how AI applies to your field. If you're a coder, get on one of the new AI IDEs. They're fantastic. You can be 10 times as productive. If you're a designer, get up to date. There's all these kind of design things you can do now with AI. And by the way, we did a number of AI sort of designs and stuff. There are a lot of graphs and graphics were in this book, the Big Bitcoin book, were done using AI. So it's a really key differentiator. Take classes in math, computer science, and AI. So get up to date as to what these things are, how things are working. And as far as savings, save your 100% of all your extra funds in Bitcoin. Don't even think of anything else. And rent, don't own. Buying real estate is not going to be a good trade over the next 10 to 20 years. You're much better off by putting your money into Bitcoin. So Steve Jobs said famously that you should really focus on the higher order bits now. In the binary, the higher order bits are the ones that matter, right? Those are the thousands and the tens of thousands, not the lower ones, which are the ones, the twos, the fives, the single digits. The higher order bits are what matter. And there really are two higher order bits right now in the world. There is AI and there's Bitcoin. So AI is growing like crazy. Now, there's a lot of ways we can measure this growth, but I'm just going to focus on dollars. This is how much dollars are going into AI. And you can see it was started around 20 billion, and it really has gone up almost 10x in the last 15 years. So we're now at about $350 billion. It's a smooth exponential curve. We're growing like crazy. Bitcoin market cap, however, is growing even faster. If you look here, Bitcoin market cap with an exponential fit looks like this. It's not quite exponential. It's a power law. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Bitcoin's growing faster than AI. So Willie Sutton said, people said, why do you rob banks? And he goes, I rob them because that's where the money is. And I think really we should look at where is the money right now. You're at the beginning of your career. Go where the money is. And I think you'll find that Bitcoin's just a better passive investment than AI. Now, I don't want to get into all the power law metrics. Bitcoin follows a power law, roughly a power law, statistical behavior. And we can use this to project roughly where Bitcoin's going to be over the next 5 to 10 years, and even further, up 10 or 20 years. And we find that Bitcoin's on a path to 10x over the next 5 to 10 years, and probably 100x over the next 10 to 20 years. This is an amazing, amazing asset. And all you have to do in order to get this appreciation is buy it and wait. That's it. If you buy Bitcoin and you wait, you will probably 100x over the next 20 years. We are probably going to get to Bitcoin 10 million. Now, this is not unheard of in assets. You could have done this in Amazon. You could have done this in Apple. You could have done this in Microsoft. And now you're likely to be able to do it again in Bitcoin. So as an asset, it's looking to be amazing. Now, how do you invest in AI? Well, the obvious thing is you buy NVIDIA, but maybe you should also buy Google or Microsoft or Tesla. They've got AI, and they have AI built into all their cars and soon robotics. Or what about OpenAI? Everybody uses OpenAI, ChatGPT. They're eventually going to go public. Maybe I should just wait and invest in them. So there's a lot of question marks here. There's no one clear winner. I'd say right now you could sort of make a case that NVIDIA is the clear winner in AI. But if you look back at the internet, you would have made the case that Cisco's the clear winner in the internet in 1999. And it wasn't. It ended up being, let's call it Amazon, who really won that particular phase of the internet. And I would say later it would be, Apple and Facebook who really won. But, the e-commerce was not even a clear winner in 1999. And, you need to wait another decade for that to be the case. So who's going to win in AI? I don't know. Could be all of these companies win, but I'm not sure there's a winner take all like Amazon was in e-commerce. Furthermore, AI is completely open source. So, Eric Voorhees has launched Venice.ai, and he's built a product that, is very good. You can use it, and it has some advantages over OpenAI. You can ask it completely uncensored anything. And it's completely private and so on. So that's cool. But that sort of negates the value of winner takes all in AI. Maybe there's some new participant that wins in this field. The main thing is I don't know. But I do know, going back to Bitcoin, I do know that Bitcoin could 10x or 100x in the next decade or two. So I don't need to ask myself. I don't need to find a winner for AI. So let's. A lot of people are sitting there going, "Fred, you're rich. You have all this money to invest. I don't even have any money. I'm just young. I have no money. What about me? Should I just buy a meme coin or something?" And the answer is no. The answer is no. What you should do is you should save your money. You should, first of all, stop just looking at the screen and trying to find something that'll, you know, 100x your, 1,000x your miserable $2,000 in the next 5 years. That's not going to happen. Stop looking for that and start working and then saving your money in this greatest savings vehicle we've ever had, which is Bitcoin. So that's what you should do. Think of Bitcoin as a great way to save. And my friend Sminston With put this nice graph, and it sort of says this is the expected compound return of Bitcoin over the next, the next very long time, right? And it's looking to go down, but even by 2040, it's still looking at a 20% CAGR. Okay, even at 2050, we're still looking at 15% CAGR. So, we're going to beat inflation for forever, and we're going to beat the S&P forever, Laura. So we have a very, very long time. So you should look at this as, and I love his hashtag here, thankful. This is like we've invented a way for you to save with very, very, very high CAGR. So you should save in this media. Very simple. And I think you should save 100% of your money. If you're young, don't even think about it. Don't try to diversify. Diversifications for old people. If you're young, go 100% all in Bitcoin and that's it. You can use the ETF. You can use cold storage, whatever works. I would say cold storage for most people. But if you're not comfortable with that, use the ETF or do both. On the other hand, people ask me, Fred, should I work in Bitcoin? I say no. I would prefer, better advice I think is to work in an AI adjacent field. It doesn't mean that you have to go work for OpenAI or Google or Tesla, because as I will say, that AI is going to encompass everything, but work in AI related, and you should save in Bitcoin. AI, it surprised all of us, right? And I watched Steve Jurvetson in this conference that I went to in 2018. It's a crypto conference I went to. And it was on board the USS Hornet, which is an aircraft carrier sitting in the Bay of San Francisco. And, it was amazing. I listened to him talk, and I'd met Steve before in sort of a prior life, a venture I did backed by Tim Draper. I met him before, but I watched him talk about AI in 2018. And what he was saying just sounded crazy to me, like that the AI was going to be able to design buildings and think of recipes and do drawing art. And I was like, how is this even possible? What are you talking about? Of course, it's doing all those things now. So he had a little bit of a front row seat into this evolution. I think most of the people on the Hornet were sort of very interested in what their altcoins were going to do next week. But he was definitely preaching the truth there. And this was kind of in the midst of the bear market, really. I mean, I think April of 2018. I don't even know where Bitcoin was, 4,000. Yeah, that was really, for me, it was a very interesting moment. And so I was going to say, AI is going to change everything, right? It was going to change every single career. Obviously, if you're in coding, you already know this because you're probably already using AI to code. If you're a designer, I think There's so much you can do with AI now, with graphic design, and it's unbelievable. Architecture, buildings are going to be designed with AI. Factories are going to be designed with AI. If you're in law, AI is great at thinking through legal cases. My wife's a lawyer. Medicine is going to be unbelievable how medicine and AI are going to interact. So my advice to you is to front run that trade. Learn AI. Learn how to interact with AI. Learn how to use AI. Ride the horse. Eventually, people like said, but Fred, eventually AI is going to do it for me. Sure, it will eventually in 20 years or 10 years. But you want to get ahead of the trade. You want to run that. And this is where you're going to be able to add a amount of value over the next 10 years in your field. I don't know if you're working in industrial lubricants, then figure out how AI impacts industrial lubricants. Just apply it to your area and get on top of it, and you will prosper and then make money and invest the money in Bitcoin. So that's as far as my presentation today. I hope you enjoyed it. As usual, please hit the subscribe button. It means a lot to me. And I will catch you online. Thank you very much.